Thank you very much for being here. It's really a pleasure, and it's really an important moment for me, being a urban studies faculty. Thank you, Joel, Jasmine, Jamie, Carrie, Gonzalo, all of you people who put it together, and my colleagues at Urban Studies. I am a public historian and an urban historian, so I'm going to begin this discussion with a story from the ground that allows us to hear and learn from the wisdom of Milwaukee's residents, men and women who are engaged in everyday grassroots struggles to retain their houses. And so here is the story. Summer 2016, Vine Street, Milwaukee. My students and I enter a foreclosed house in Milwaukee's North Side neighborhood, but we are not prepared to see what we find. The front room is full of scattered belongings as if the family evacuated in a hurry. Children's toys are lying in large bins. A piano and beautifully crafted wooden cabinets adorn the living room. We pick up an 80-year-old family Bible lying on the piano, and birth certificates neatly tucked in between its pages tumble out. We go upstairs and find graduation gowns, a prosthetic foot, formal dresses arranged neatly in closets. In the study, desks are stacked with bank statements and unpaid bills. The domestic interior looks like a war zone, a devastating sight of an unfolding human tragedy that, while it was so stunning to us, is not so uncommon in Milwaukee. This human story sometimes eludes us when we study aggregate data, when we look at top-down urban policies or economic reports. Yet, this is the common story for many Milwaukee families who strive for the so-called American dream, momentarily succeed, and then fall through the cracks as the world around them changes in irreversible ways. But before I begin my story, a brief note on my methods. Every summer, Buildings, Landscapes, Cultures Field School, a public history project that I direct, brings students, scholars, and community members together in Milwaukee's North Side neighborhoods. We measure homes and city records to tell life stories of vernacular buildings, and we interview homeowners and tenants to hear their tales of domestic life. And this is a collaborative project. Many exceptional students have helped collect and analyze data, among them Francesca Bissy, Bella Beaver, Jared Schmid, and Tiana Cooksey, who's here, whose incredible work is reflected in this particular presentation. There are two central actors in my story. Both of them are often rendered mute in discussions around the housing crisis. First is the other residents, victims, survivors, stewards, and brave warriors who address the housing problem via innovative grassroots solutions and strategies. Second are the buildings themselves. Built out of vernacular wisdom, these buildings have accommodated change over time. Understanding them helps us respond to this crisis. Now back to the home. The home on Vine Street belonged to the Flippin family. In 1950, Thomas and Georgia Flippin came to Milwaukee from Tennessee. They were part of a large migration, the second migration of African Americans from the South. Between 1940 and 1960, Wisconsin's African American population, drawn by industrial jobs, grew by 600%. As they settled in the North Side, the Flippins encountered a segregated world produced by 20th century restrictive racial covenants and discriminatory lending practices. Thomas worked as a porter, and he earned enough to invest in his house, take out a home insurance, and send their children to school. This home was the symbol of their economic and social struggles and a testimony to their success in building a secure world for their family. Yet clearly, something went wrong in 2015. As we sort through the mail left in the rubble, the first evidence of financial woes appear in bills from 1986. This was 1 year after George's death. The industrial jobs in this neighborhood were disappearing during this time. This reflected in the family's waning fortunes as the breadwinners lost permanent jobs and were at the mercy of low-paying temporary positions. Despite economic difficulties, the family kept the home. Pearline, George's daughter, she held multiple jobs, took out a mortgage, made repairs to the house. Quinton, George's grandson and son of Cheryl, her second daughter, dutifully attended Milwaukee Area Technical College, and Rory, the brother, played in his high school football team. They did everything right. Things took an irreversible turn when Pershon, George's third daughter, was incarcerated in 1990s. Within a span of 5 years, more adults in their extended social circle ended up in jail. And the disruption in family life is palpable in letters to her mother when Pershon's younger daughter, Cynthia, describes the pain and suffering by wistfully dreaming of the day when her mother can rock her back to sleep as she used to when she was young. And she wrote, "I just want to see the kids, Daddy, and Mama." So at the end of the century, when the bottom fell off, jobs disappeared, and urban infrastructure crumbled, the family had no other place to go. They could not escape the grip of their circumstances. The story of the economic decline of the Flippin family serves us as an after story of 20th century discriminatory and segregating practices. But it also alerts us to continuing disenfranchisement of black residents of Milwaukee's North Side. In the current century, new forms of discrimination, such as uneven loss of local jobs, spotty public transportation, unfair urban taxation, and mass incarceration, selectively impact certain neighborhoods, producing holding pens of poverty and disinvestment from where one cannot escape. And here I just want to add also, sometimes they do not want to leave their social system. So it's not always that they want to escape that neighborhood. Today, majority of foreclosed homes in this carceral geography are classified as city tax foreclosures, reflecting an overwhelming inability of homeowners to hold on to their homes. Current programs that funnel money to help homeowners with home repairs, home finances, and maintenance, they help. But such support rarely reach the neediest residents. Additionally, we continue to incorrectly mythologize bootstrap homeownership, and in doing so, fail to come up with successful grassroots strategies to create affordable rental units and stable tenancy. And Matthew Desmond, as you just heard, demonstrates that. Transient tenants in substandard buildings owned by absentee landlords become the face of the housing crisis of Milwaukee. But there is another side of the story that addressed this thorny issue, and that side of the story are the houses themselves. Thomas and George's home served as a good example. This building was built in 1905. The owner, Juno Peterson, built this home as a single-family residence, but in 1945, then owner Sander Patterson erected a back wooden staircase and installed a complete bathroom on the first floor. We discovered security latches installed on the door jamb at the head of the main stairs on the second floor. All this suggests that the building was modified to create an independently accessible upstairs unit. By 1956, the Housing Authority considered this building as a duplex flat. Building form and building uses, just like people and society, change with history. Mid-20th century multifamily duplexes were subdivided to accommodate tenants. This made the house form flexible, allowing blue-collared homeowners to generate additional capital to support their income by renting out to workers from nearby manufacturing industries. The homeowners and tenants had much in common, and the house form reflected this camaraderie. The front porch, back stairs, basements were shared spaces connecting two independent units. Today, social conditions have changed, and with absentee landlords, both units in duplexes are rented out to unrelated tenants. We heard stories of conflict in basements and fear of neighbors sharing the entrance porch from individuals and families who actually share nothing in common. Here is a map of the recent city-owned homes in Milwaukee's north side, marked for the Milwaukee Employment Renovation Initiative, or the MERI scheme. Several of these homes are duplex houses. Now they're available to developers who will now probably continue to repair these buildings as duplexes, perpetuating and continuing flawed practices of tenancy. Once again, the residents were not included in designing or managing the scheme. Ironically, at the field school, we find, unknown to most of the outside world, residents innovatively convert old house forms to diverse uses. Many duplexes in this neighborhood are now intergenerational homes where older children return to live with their aging parents. The layout allows for proximity while providing privacy and separation. Assisted by innovative financial training schemes popularized by organizations such as ACTS Housing, and we're going to hear from them, Housing First, some tenants become new homeowners. Other strategies include providing tenants options to mix residential spaces with business uses, offer innovative forms of rental and leasing options, and a few ponder on community ownership. All this despite laws, city action, zoning codes, and tax rules that stymie innovative solutions emerging from the grassroots. One of our students, Taran Singh, suggested novel solutions to empower residents by creating a game kit and a rule book. This game kit comes with its own kit of parts that demonstrate how vernacular buildings, which is everyday common buildings, are put together. The attached rule book explains methods of the expert vernacular builder. The goal is to transform residents into informed and savvy clients who better engage developers, architects, and city officials and demand realistic design responses. So the vernacular home is a cultural artifact that we all share and recognize. Yet the interpretation of this common form is inflected by a plurality of perspectives, and each of us read this material object in different ways, find different uses for it, and manipulate it in ways that suit our cultural and personal needs. The ubiquitous 20th century house that you see around may look the same to all of us, but its larger context of use, meaning, and relevance have changed over time. Understanding this transformation over time should inform the way we act upon the housing crisis today. Thank you.